to teach today about the jab and the punching. A lot of people have a big habit of doing this when they punch. Pulling back and pulling back when they punch. Just to pull back this far is enough time to get hit. For instance, this is how fast the jab is. So by the time he pulls his hand back to hit me, I've hit him. So you don't have that luxury. And when you're in close range, you pull your hand back, I move closer. So in tournament fighting, it just doesn't work. Okay, so this is the speed of a jab. A jab moves like that. Okay, you don't have time to pull this back. If I pull back to jab, he's going to hit me. Okay, so the concept is you have to learn to flow. And the first thing to do is you're standing in kumite dachi like this, and you just rock forward. And your hands are doing this. The minute I turn this foot similar to sanchin dachi like this, and let my hip turn, this hand moves slightly forward more. As opposed to straight, where they're both moving together. Turn, this one goes further. That little bit of distance is where your power is generated. So for instance, if I'm here like this, and I go like this, the strength's only in the arm, but that little bit of float is giving me the speed. Okay, that little bit of load up here is adding more weight into the end hit. So I let it go loose and I shut it and I turn it the same as Sekinski. Okay? So you have to float. The foot needs to be on this angle. If the foot is straight like this, it's the quad, calf, hand, quad, calf, hand. You're going to get not even a minute and you're going to start to ache. Here, the entire muscle works and the tendons lock out and you can move, you've got full movement and move it. So the jab from here is like that. I don't do this. Look, if my guard's here, I do not go back, jab. Because when I go back, he hits me. I go from here, here, back to here. I don't go here, here, here. Start here, finish there. Start here, finish here. Start here, finish here. Okay? Remember the motion. So what happens now is to generate that power, it's here. To replace this, to replace all that stored strong energy in the arm, you need kinetic energy, you need motion. Okay, so what happens is, this all comes here. See my belt moving? That's where it comes. Not like this. Not like this. If I throw a jab, motion forward. You see? Not like that. If I throw this one, I do not go here straight. I go here. If I throw the uppercut, which a lot of people do this, you don't. From here, straight up. Power generated here. So it's, and an uppercut is a counter. Not a big uppercut like that, because he's just going to hit me. Uppercuts where I'm leaning on him here. Normally I use my shoulder, pump off, shoot up the center. Okay, so if my hand is here, it goes from here. It does not do this like that. By that time he's already on. It's bunt from here, if it's like this, bunt, boom, straight up. Same with the next hand. Bunt straight up, boom. Okay? Body shot's the same. You don't do this. By that time he's hit you 2 times in the chest or in the face. From here, it's here. Now short. Uppercut. Okay, so this is where the power is. Now to generate short power, we do this. Take off your belt. For the children, this is a good way to generate it. Take the two arms, bend it so it's as far forward as it can go. Tie it here, put it in the joint. We tie the whole back up like this. Do it in a reef knot. Okay, now what happens is, I want him to compensate the power that he would do this with his legs. To do that, I've got to keep him off the bag, make him push into it. Okay, and this stops him overthrowing. Okay, so this is only designed to build short range power. Okay, go. Okay, so what the kids can do is they can do that with the pads and jump around. Now, if you watch the power generated from the calf, power is coming in. The palm of his foot is off the ground. That means the load up there. So, if now he needs to throw a distance and pull it back, which what is the load up is from the load up's coming here. Now he's doing distance. Now he can afford to load a little bit, but he's compensating a lot with the leg. Okay, so when you're throwing a jab now, he has to float. If he gets the exact point of impact with the load up on the leg at the exact same time, common physics, he's going to have body weight in the punch. So when he's jabbing, get in. Okay. So now when he starts mixing it with other shots, just shadow. At no time you see this. It's coming from wherever the hand is. If my hand's here, uppercut's coming here. It's not going from here, here, here. If my hand's here, hook's coming from here. Boom! And I've got to compensate the power with the legs. In the bare fist or in a stand-up fighting, doesn't really, you get away with it having a bit of distance. But in the karate in a tournament, you can't punch the face. So what happens is, if you pull your arm back, I'm moving. Because I know I'm not going to get hit in the face. In boxing, slightly different. You've got gloves on, which act as a big cushion. But in bare fist, you don't have that liberty. One of these is going to hurt. Okay? So it's going to go bang. So what happens is, he cannot afford to go hoo. So when you're doing the shadow boxing, first, compensate that distance with body weight. Second, you have to protect eight sections. Now to do that, I'm going to move over to here, and this is for ring control. We have 8 sections. Okay, in the center, we'll put this. So this represents the center of the boxing ring. All the time, his targeting needs to be in the center. At no time should his targeting be facing out there. Okay? Even if he's got me against the ropes, he should be in center line. Okay? If he is facing the rope like that, he's losing. He needs to always concentrate facing there. So, there you go, shadow. The footwork cannot contradict the hand movement. If the footwork contradicts the hand movement, what happens? You lose power, you lose placement, and you lose coordination. So every time that hand's out extended on the jabs, up the foot's loaded, boom, loaded, boom, loaded, boom, loaded. So it's hurting. If it's not loaded and he jabs, it's not loaded, just throw a jab, it's purely these tricep, bicep, and a little bit of lat. But if the foot's loaded, the quad's pumping, the calf's pumping, the torso's turning, the hips lowering to a point of gravity, he weighs 70 kilos. Just do the physics. The power to a rate of power to fist ratio increases. Bare fist fighting in karate, the difference of this to here is only that much up here. For me, I teach the bare fist to be always hitting here. Why? Because they always lower their head to dodge it and get caught. When I punch their head, they duck it. So in bare fist, just go for here all the time, same as you do in karate. Because they just got to drop 2 inches there, boom, and he's there. Look, up, down. You see, that's all he's got to do. What happens when someone does that? You see? They automatically crouch. That 2 inches is boom. But if I was aiming at his head and he ducked, boom, I might hit his forehead, break my knuckles. Okay, so the footwork, coordination, and body movement is important. When you start adding knees into it, it's the same. You can't go 1, 2, 3, reshuffle and throw a knee. It needs to work in sync. Like, at no time does he throw a knee and his flat foot on the ground. The foot comes up. Okay, yeah, mate. The reason the foot comes up is this. If my leg is flat on the ground like that, unless I'm in Zenkutsu Dachi, the quad's not hard. From here, I can't make the quad hard. So when I throw a knee flat foot and he kicks me here, that's going to hurt. But if he's up on his leg and throws it, this is like a rock. And do the other side. This is like a rock. So it don't matter if I throw it a kick because it's hard. But if he's flat foot and I throw it a kick, it's straight on the muscle. Okay? That's why it's important. And how do you get your students to stay on the toes when they're doing the knees? Simple. You take their sand shoes, you put a stone in the heel, and you get the shadow box. After 1-2 weeks, they'll be on their toes for the entire thing. And in my gym, if you're caught flat foot, you're not going to get a fight. Because it shows, 1, you don't have the coordination, 2, you're going to get taken down with leg kicks. And that's probably the most embarrassing thing that's going to happen to you. Okay, so when you're shadow boxing, when you're throwing the knees, away you go. Boom, see right up on the, you zoom right in, you'll see. Okay, your mate. The next thing is, things work together. The knee is not an attack. If he attacks me with a knee, bonk, it's not going to happen. Knee, bonk, like this, it can't happen. The knee is when I'm here, when I'm coming for my attack, the knee happens. The knee is a counter. He needs me to be moving forward because my moving forward and his penetration gives solid impact. If I'm still here and he throws a knee, it's not going to do anything. And probably I just move away and go, oh. Okay, so he needs me, boom, counter, boom, counter. Same with the elbow. Elbows, if he throws an elbow from here, he's going to get that. I'm moving in, bang. I get bang. It's a counter. Jab is an attack and it works with a key. Now, holding my head. So if he's moving, boom, boom. So he jabs, I do that, I got to move on him, he stops. So those two work good. Big hook, boom, leg kick. Why? Because it's like a washing machine here. Because we don't want to be doing this, he's going short hook, boom, bam. When he throws a hook on here like this, normally I turn this way. My leg's primed for a leg kick. I've turned into the leg kick too hard. Stand that way. Normally, hook comes, you're like this. You've turned slightly away from the hook. I'm going to take that leg kick full on. So, hook and leg kick, boom, boom, works really good. Boom, bam. Hook, boom, bam, good counter. Jab, teeth. Boom, jab, teeth. As I, straight knee. Bam, 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 bam. Uppercut, boom, like this, straight. Or elbow, uppercut, soft, boom, 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 boom. Because what happens when I get caught with an uppercut, my head pops. My head's going to go honk, my head pops up. I move forward, I'm going to get hit. So these don't contradict the body movement. When you get good at your shadow boxing, you should not have to stop your dance or your footwork to throw that or execute the technique. This shouldn't happen. Move, stop, dun, dun, dun. Move, stop, dun, dun, dun. It doesn't work that way. Because whenever you change direction, you must punch. If you watch his shadow boxing carefully, every time he swaps stance, he'll jab or do something. See? When he's going off the side, he's throwing, he's short. But he does not just stance off to the side and do nothing. Why? He has to keep that door closed for counter so that they can't move in. Okay, so in Shorin Kempo, the difference with our tournament fighting and our defense, well, we gyaku, our self-defense, and our bare fist fighting, because we do head punching as well, we don't want to have to change the system just to fight with head punches and then fight in a tournament. So the system evolves to do it all without affecting the training. Okay? The concept of it is through many years of being in Thailand and throughout Asia, the concept of the footwork seems to be forgotten in a lot of karate styles and tends to be very flat-footed. Okay? But the concept and then when you do that crossover into boxing or crossover into MMA or crossover into bare fist fighting, you find it really hard to get the footwork and get the placement. And if you get tagged with one shot, you could get a cut, the fight's over, you go boom, you get dizzy. It's a lot more risk. So the footwork is your first line of defense before you learn to throw any punches. Once you can get the footwork and combine the hand movement with the footwork, you start getting close to an end game, to something that you can use. Then what do? It's like a cake. You start throwing things in the mixture to make it taste better. A little bit of strawberry, take mawashigiri, a little bit of garlic, ushiro mawashigiri. You start adding these things in. When you add them in, you've got your end game. Then once you've got your full end game, what do? It's just a case of getting stronger, faster, and adaptation to whatever you're going to fight. Okay? Us.